So you've had experience with this, with NLP
Yes,
and the trauma phobia release process, which you don't know what it was called, but
yes.
yeah. And what was your experience, you were saying?
Well, it literally saved my life because, and I tell everybody about NLP because I was at the junction
Take a break
where
if you want, or you could stay.
I
Ever.
couldn't um I couldn't go to work. I couldn't sleep because when I'd sleep, I would have nightmares. PTSD was really bad. Um, from being a police officer, and I had nightmares like crazy, and every night I'd wake up fighting and stuff like that. But I tell you what, I tell everybody about NLP because it, and then after my first session with you, just the first session, that next night I slept without any nightmares for one session. And then the second session that we had was very, very, very good because the next session I had, I haven't had, I think it took, I think if I remember right, it's been quite a while back, but I think it took like 3 or 4 sessions and five maybe. And I hadn't had a nightmare for, well, 10 years,
Oh,
you
isn't
know.
that a wonderful relief? Well, that's great. Well, we're
Yep.
going to just gather a little information about what's going on, and then we'll
Okay.
call you in, Heather, when we're
Okay.
ready to do the process, and maybe sit in a chair or something. But
Yep.
yeah, you're welcome to be here, but you don't have to be. Thank
Okay.
you. So good. I'm so glad to hear, Carl, and I'm
Yeah.
so glad for us to reconnect, because it seems like there's probably some things that have come up that are presenting you with a problem, and I'm
Yeah.
comfortable with you eating and talking if you are.
Do you
So
mind
is that
that?
okay? Not at
Okay.
all.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Because
You
my
got you
belly's
got to
screaming.
get your lunch in, so this
That's
is good.
right.
Not a problem. Um, no, so I just want to see if you could tell me a little bit about what you're experiencing now that makes you feel like you want to come back into counseling, therapy with me.
um, I've got starting nightmares again.
Okay.
Um, and they're not quite as severe as before, but I've had several recently that I am in a situation where I need to point my gun and shoot it,
Okay.
but I can't squeeze the trigger. I'm
Okay.
trying and I'm trying and I'm trying to squeeze it. Um, one thing that differs from the time before is I actually am getting shot now. I feel in my dreams I'm actually receiving the bullets and from their gun, but I can't shoot back. And I wake up in cold sweats. Um and it's how I'm having a hard time sleeping that way.
Okay.
And and
And
I'm
about
also,
how long, Carl, has that been going on?
that's been going on now for probably about a year.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And would you say that it's most nights, or you just don't know and it's once in a while and it's just
No, I would say probably 3 out of the 7 nights a week. I probably have a nightmare like that.
okay? And have you ever related to anything that was happening in the day, or just sort of
A lot of
arbitrary?
times my dreams start out with some of the things that we might have done during the day. Like when we jeep quite a bit, and so it seems like we might be out jeeping, and then it seems like in my dream I might, get into an argument with somebody on the road or on the trail, and then all of a sudden, they're shooting at me, and it just goes downhill.
And
I
did
don't.
you usually start with getting into an argument? Excuse me for
Yes,
interrupting. Okay.
yes. Starts
So it
by,
always get into the argument, and then
yeah,
it escalates really fast and
it
you're
really
getting
fast.
shot. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Um, and I've also started figuring out that I'm getting very, very short with people during the day.
Okay.
I remember about 3 or 4 years ago, I started feeling like why be the nice guy because I seem like I can't get ahead. I can't, no matter what I do, I can't get ahead. And it seems like I can't. So basically I started in my mind feeling like why be the Mr. Nice Guy? Why be nice to everybody? Because I always used to be the one that if somebody started to argue with me, I would always be like, yeah, it's okay. I would always be just soft and just kind of like, yeah. Well, now I feel very argumentative.
Okay.
Like if Heather, not Heather, no, Heather's a bad example. I worship the ground she walks on.
I know. I'm
She
hoping
is
it's not showing up with her
no,
because yeah.
it is. Well,
No.
she might tell you
Fun.
different because I
Okay.
do snap at her.
Okay.
But I don't argue with her and I don't, but a lot of like my dad, I seem to snap at him a lot and I seem to argue. I feel like I want to argue with everybody.
Okay.
And that has never been me. I
Okay.
never used to want to argue with anybody. I'd always
Okay.
just take it and just be brush it off and away I'd go. But
Yeah.
it seems like I want to argue.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say, Carl, just if I may, that I think what the other strategy you were using of being Mr. Nice Guy, that's a hard one to do forever and ever. That kind of does come to a point where you just can't keep doing that one anymore.
I
So, but
know.
then you're going to the other extreme and you don't want to be
Yep,
doing that either. So,
yep.
okay. So I mean, I can see and I know, Carl, that you don't feel like you've got control of that, and
No,
that's something you want to
no.
be able to have a way to moderate and control and not have that just take over. Okay.
Right, right.
Okay. And so again, and we kind of you were going to think about the things you wanted to get from this. So it's certainly working on the nightmares, the snapping, the
Yes, and
argumentativeness.
the anger I'm starting to get, and I don't know if I am resenting, and maybe it's just all of the society. I don't know what it is.
You know, Carl, I'm going to
Betsy,
interrupt you if I may
go ahead.
along the way.
Yep.
I'm going to say you don't have to figure out why because people can't really figure out why they feel what they feel. I always say emotions and intellect are like oil and water.
Okay. They
You
don't
can
mix.
make it up. You can try to tell yourself a story about why you're angry, but nobody really ever knows why. It's a million things that ever happened to us in our life. So I
Right.
don't, that's what I call problem focused therapy. We try to figure out why we are the way we are, thinking that will make a difference. Well, we spend a lot of time trying to figure it out. And I don't think it really makes a difference. I don't think I have seen
Right.
anybody get better because they knew why they were angry.
Yep.
So I just want you to
Yeah,
know that,
I'm having some anger.
okay. So those are wonderful things to work with at an unconscious level. That's what we do in these processes.
Right.
Is they're generated by our unconscious mind that's there to provide us with survival mechanisms. So that's where it has nothing to do with anything logical or rational. It's like it
Okay.
does that because it's trying to serve a purpose and meet a need. And we'll find
Okay.
out what it's there trying to do for you and help you have that in other ways.
Okay.
So it seems like those are plenty of things, and that's good things to work on.
Okay.
So I guess the only other, I'll just see if there's anything else you have. Of course, you say you're this way with your dad. I don't know how that is in terms of how that affects your life and how it is in other ways. Certainly with the kids, you don't want to be
Yep.
doing that.
Right.
And just in general in your life.
Yeah.
So just that kind of just brings us a little bit to the goals to if and when and as things can be different and better, how would you rather be?
My life would be, it would be more peaceful if I could just get on, drive my bus route and not let things bother me and do my thing. And then better communication with Heather, to where I can understand, the things that she's trying to tell me, and we've been together 25 years,
Mm,
and we're, it's something that, I'm always trying to figure out what she needs and what she wants from me, and and I'm trying to be a provider. And I would love to be able to be a better provider. I'm still having the job issues to where I don't where I don't feel like I can go to work, and at
oh,
like a regular job and be there all day. That's why a school bus driver works out real good for me, but it
yeah.
doesn't pay the bills. It
Okay.
pays a few bills, but not all the bills. So I'd
Okay.
like to be a better provider.
And so
That's what
what
I
that
can see.
means then, Carl, is that there's something about being able to go to a job and stay for the day.
Yeah.
And what is it that goes on in you that gets in your way of that?
I start getting anxious and start getting upset to my stomach, and I get, I can make myself physically ill by trying to think about going to a job. And I think about, well,
Mm,
being there all day, and I've got to be there all day, and I've got to be away from everything. It feels like I can't be here and be in control. I don't know if it's in control of everything that's going on here, because it seems like whenever I leave or whenever I go somewhere, it seems like everything just kind of falls apart,
oh,
and
so
so I feel like I
you're
want to be
concerned.
here.
You're concerned about being away
Yes,
because you always think, oh, I should be there to kind of make things okay.
because
Okay.
everything falls apart when I'm gone. And
Oh,
if I'm at a job, I can't leave and come home, to fix things.
okay.
But
And
anyway, I
so,
could see it being a lot more peaceful in my own head,
yeah,
if I could, curtail a lot of that stuff.
okay. Okay. And I think you're aware that, as you just were telling me, it's in your head. It's like, is that really happened? Maybe it did once, but does it really? Okay. So
Yeah.
it doesn't, I mean, in reality now, it doesn't really happen, but in your
Right.
mind, it's like, oh, you're afraid. That's where you're operating from. Okay.
Yes.
Um, so okay, so we're talking about the goals. So it would be not snapping, being more peaceful, I think you
Yes.
said.
Yep.
Um,
Better understanding.
okay. Um, hold on. More peaceful. Um, and of course, I would say might be nice to sleep better.
Hmm.
That'd
Yeah.
be a good one.
Be nice to sleep, because whenever I do get a good night's sleep, the next day seems to go better.
See, I'm thinking these things are probably pretty interrelated.
Right.
I
Because
think
if
it's,
I'm
yeah,
tired,
yeah.
I am really snappy. If I can physically feel myself tired, then I'm really short
Mhm.
with people.
And if you, like you said, maybe 3 out of the 7 nights you have nightmares, would you
Yeah.
say the other 4 nights you sleep okay? Or not even? Or do you,
Oh, just okay.
yeah,
That I don't sleep great anytime.
okay.
Um, but I don't, I think that might be, some of that might be physical, because my legs hurt a lot at night. The neuropathy in my legs hurt. Um, and
Okay.
I'm always worried about trying to figure out how to keep the pain in my legs from hurting. And I know that when 5 o'clock rolls around, that alarm goes off. I'm wondering if I can stand up and if I'm going to make it, because it hurts so bad to walk. And and it's just, I lay there at night wondering, which is crazy, because I lay there at night at 8 or 9 o'clock at night thinking, Well, when 5 o'clock rolls around, am I going to be able to get up and walk?
Our brain's pretty busy doing
It's
all these
it's
things.
busy, and it's busy all
Yes,
night
I
because
know.
one, I might wake up and be like, I got 4 hours left. Try to get more sleep, but my legs are hurting now, so I really know they're going to hurt when I get up. So all night
Okay.
long, I'm worried about my legs hurting,
Mhm.
and then if I've stayed up all night work, or not, I don't stay up. If I don't sleep sound, then I know that my next day I'm going to be tired.
And then you have to worry about that too, huh?
I'm worried about being tired because
Right.
I don't want to be driving a school bus tired,
No.
and stuff like that. And so
Okay.
that kind of
So
concerns
it
me.
is that old catch-22 thing, huh? So
Yep.
you worry, so you can't sleep, and then you can't sleep, then you worry. So really, I will just remind you, since it's been a while, that again, these are these unconsciously generated responses, this worry kind of thing, for
Hmm.
instance, and all the different stuff you're talking about, and
Right.
anger and all that thing, and all those sort of things. So these parts of us are here with such a deeper underlying purpose and positive intention. They're here to try to help us. So they don't respond so well when we try to push them away.
Hmm.
It makes them hold on tighter. And I think in lots of kinds of therapies, which you've probably been experiencing, that's a lot of what people do, is kind of help you to try to not have those feelings.
Right.
But really, what we will do is we want to work with them, help them bring to you what they've wanted, so that then you just have choices to not have to keep in these anger,
Right.
worry places that, but it's really something we really recognize, that the unconscious mind's job is to help us, to try to help us survive. So the more we can work with it and
Right.
help it do what it's been there trying to do, then that's what helps have choices. So I think, well, let's just say, if we can, so in terms of, I think the goal in relation to the worry is probably somewhat being able to have a quieter mind, being able to have more, again, like you said, peace and rest and
Yes.
more deep sleep and things that are going to help nourish you, to help you function better, will be a good thing.
Yep. That would be a great thing.
Okay. So I'm just going to ask, since this isn't, again, it's sporadic, but it's semi-regular, but it's good to know, how are you going to know things are at least improving? So things aren't all, you're not all the way peaceful, you're not all the way, everything's gone, but things are at least beginning to move in the right direction. What would be a sign of change or evidence of change
Um,
in your day-to-day life?
Probably, I'll know fairly quickly because my literal tiredness will be better, and
Okay.
because I am tired. Like right now, I could lay down and go to sleep, you
Okay.
know. Um, and I wear this CPAP mask and stuff. I wear this stupid thing at night so I can live. Um, but it is, they said that would help me not be so tired and stuff like that. And it does help me not stop breathing and stuff like that, but I can still feel I'm tired because I'm awake. I'm not awake, but I'm aware.
Okay.
And if I'm aware, I'm not asleep, and
Well, and I just want to say, because I've talked to a lot of people with these things, I mean, that is a discomfort and it is interfering. But I think if we can do some things to at least help your mind be a little calmer and quieter and
yeah,
be able to be more restful, maybe you can work with it a little bit better, because it's
yes, definitely.
obviously, like you say, something you need.
Yep.
So, so a sign will be you'll feel
Rested.
rested. Okay. And will you notice that, I'm gonna say incrementally, so it wouldn't be like all better, but it's a little better,
Yes, I'll know
more
that.
rested? Okay,
I'll feel if once I start getting some quieter mind, I think my rest will be a deeper rest, and
okay,
I'll just feel better.
okay.
And a lot of times in the morning, I'll wake up and immediately I feel like I could go just right back to sleep again. And if I don't make myself get up, then I'm struggling,
Oh, I'm sure you haven't had a good night's sleep. So
you
yeah,
know,
you'll be able
and
to tell if you've had a better night's sleep.
I'll know fairly quickly.
Okay, okay.
It'll be evident.